Hello. It gives me great pleasure to bring you insights from the art of dress. Welcome to the Art of Dress. Today I'd like to share with you the number 6 in our series of style profiles, or I should say my series of style profiles. And this is the True Gamine. So our True Gamine is Joan Smalls. And if you see this really unusual picture, you might be wondering what this is all about. And I'm using this picture as an illustration of the inspiration of the True Gamine style. So style, artistry, and color give you an opportunity to express yourself as a work of art. But like all art, you have an inspiration that's built into your style. So the inspiration for the True Gamine style, like all other ornament styles, is an aspect of time. The aspect of time for the True Gamine is the week. So think about a week. A week organizes your time in the sense that every day takes on a distinct character. You might have Wednesday where you say Wednesday is my workout day, Friday is my pizza day, Saturday is my errand day. Every day has a distinct character, and it's another aspect of this that relates to the True Gamine is that the week allows you to be very organized and also very effective. And also bring a lot of energy into your life. And so these are all aspects of the True Gamine style. So in this picture, you can see that the underbrow is a completely distinct aspect of her face because of the makeup. And then also she has pink eyeliner, so the inner corner of her eyes is also very distinct from the rest of her face. And then again, I mean, we do this naturally all the time with our mouths, but you'll also see that her fingernails are so distinctive with green, a green nail bed, and then like a tiger stripe or some kind of animal stripe on the nail itself. So these are all ways of detaching and pulling and calling attention to different parts of herself that don't actually relate to wardrobe, but this is what the True Gamine does in wardrobe as well. So if you see in this windbreaker, that is part of her own wardrobe. So if you'll notice, first off, the fabric of her sleeves is different from the fabric of the body of the windbreaker, calling attention to her arms. And then she also has a different fabric in the lower half of her torso, splitting her windbreaker basically in half with just, it's a little bit, and the join of the two fabrics comes just about at her focal point, which is just above her true waist. You could imagine that this same kind of effect could take place if she were to emphasize the hood, or in a different outfit, a placket, a cuff, could be the lapels on the jacket. All kinds of opportunities exist for doing this. And but this is the way that True Gamines express the element of time in their outfits. The True Gamine style is not just an ornament style. I mentioned that it's an ornament style, but seen in another way, it's also what you would call a water style. So this outfit really gives you a very clear idea of what it means to be a water style. Notice how the lines are so sleek and smooth, and you can imagine a body of water, and the surface tension of the water forms almost like a shell. It's so clean and smooth. And really and truly the lines, not the fabric necessarily, but the lines of the True Gamine have that same aspect of just going straight to their conclusion and just that cleanness. And that's really what you see in the True Gamine style. So it is a water style. This outfit shows a number of other things about her style as well. First of all, notice the belt. So the belt is right at her focal point. just above her true waist, and it's also a wide belt. So why is it wide? So I have come up with a name for styles because I didn't find a good word that existed. When you have a style that's closely fitted to the body, okay, fine, you could use those words if you wanted to. But when you have a style that stands away from the body, that doesn't conform to the body, so any kind of a full skirt, a full sleeve, anything like that would be an example of what I call an omega line. Omega because it opens out and doesn't conform. Alpha because it presses in and conforms to the body. So this is an omega style. You see the skirt, it doesn't conform to her body at all. But what's happening with her torso? Her upper torso is fitted. It's an alpha line. And that is because all ornament styles relinquish. They're not bound by conforming to silhouette. They do have rhythm of ornament. That's their number one principle of style. And they also have fabric harmony, but they reject completely that an alpha style should be all alpha or that an omega style should be all omega, and always mix the two silhouettes. In the case of the architectural artistry and the sculptural artistry, yes, the alpha portion is on top. It's an omega style with an alpha top portion. And if it were harmonic or composite, then the top would be omega. For an omega style, the top would be omega and the bottom would be alpha. Anyway, back to the subject here. Another aspect of this outfit that shows something about the True Gamine style is that she's using separates. So the white top and the dark skirt are a form of separates, and all separates give the True Gamine power, strength, and really that's what you want in every style, to be expressed fully, because it brings people into their artistry, into their selves as works of art, and also into their humanity. So the last thing I just want to mention here is that the purse matches the bodice, and so here you see a rhythm of accessories. And another aspect of the True Gamine style is that for the most part, the colors of the top and bottom often relate to each other, and that's another way of doing separates. There are many ways of showing a distinction between the top silhouette and the bottom of the silhouette, and this reinforces, in her case, it reinforces the difference between one side being alpha and the other side being omega. So here's another expression, another example of her silhouette. So you'll see that the top is very alpha, very fitted, and when you have that, that means that her lines, which are medium to medium short, are curved, and the bottom of her skirt is straight, and that is reversed in the other kind of True Gamine, because there are really two kinds. And another thing that you can see here is the cleanness of that line in her skirt, and you'll see that her shoe matches, and her shoe then is showing rhythm of accessory. And you also see here that despite the fact that the sleeve is a little tighter than you would probably want it, the bracelets help to draw emphasis to the bottom of the sleeve, because really what we're dealing with here is a form of, in a pant, you call it a boot cut. And so you're going to see this repeated. So this is always the case for all the styles. You can see that the leg is a full pant, but it gets larger primarily at the middle of her calf, and that's like a boot cut. This is the same line that you find in the True Natural, the last style that we just did, and that is why they are sister styles, because they have very little else in common. They do both use separates, that's one thing they have in common, and the second thing is this line, because the True Natural was an example of an alpha style wearing a boot cut, and here you see an omega style using a boot cut as well. This outfit also shows you the use of separates, and then the how wonderful the wide belt really looks. It's just really successful for this omega style. This is a fairly omega style. There's degrees of omega-ness. She can go pretty large. She doesn't always, but she can. And in this case, this sleeve is not overly large, but it is loose at the top, not super fitted, and then it opens out at the middle of her lower arm like a boot cut. And you also see a boat neckline, which is the neckline for the True Gamine. On the subject of inspiration, here you see another way of doing it, because this is not a different fabric, but the fabric is scaled differently. So the middle portion of the dress is not hugely scaled, but then using that same motif and the same kind of spacing, it is scaled smaller, and that shows a distinction of her arms, which is how she expresses the element of the week. Another aspect of prints for a True Gamine is that her prints or his prints are, I will call them a static print. They're evenly spaced, often geometrics. They don't have to be, but that lends itself to this kind of a print. You'll think polka dots, or sometimes especially diamond shape, because that's the element that's the shape that belongs to all True Gamines. And here again, you see another example of this distinctive use of fabric to highlight the arms. In this case, the sleeves are highlighted with in this case, a different print completely, just the only use of print, as well as the cuff is again distinctive, so showing the week as inspiration. There are other things going on here too that are really interesting. To start with, using a ribbon to form the boat line is so unusual and just really cute. The ribbon then ties into a bow, and you've already seen bows on a couple of True Gamine outfits because it's a really clean use of a rhythm. And then you can't really see this in this picture, but she wears a black shoe to bring rhythm of accessory into this, or to tie in her accessories and the design ornamentation of her top. All of the emphasis of the design is in the top in a number of different ways. One is the use of the ribbon and the bow. Another is the sleeve is basically a top element because it joins at the shoulder. And then also the corset. A corset belt with lacing. So the design, the strongest design aspect of her outfit is above her waist, which is appropriate because her focal point is above her waist. This outfit also shows you a number of other qualities that are really interesting. It is a good example of firm fabric. So firm fabrics really suit True Gamines. That's their best kind of fabric, because it gives you a distinct line, and as a water style, you have to highlight your line a bit more than other styles. Another aspect of the fabric is not very heavy in weight, and I think you've seen this throughout these, but I haven't really pulled attention to it before, because a True Gamine is low on that numerical order that I talked about in some of the other style examples. Remember the elaborate natural? That was the number one and the very first one that we did. That was a number of 13 out of 13, uses the heaviest fabrics. So every style has a distinctive number, and the True Gamine is number 3. So lightweight fabrics work best. If the fabrics get too heavy, it starts to overwhelm this style and also makes it very difficult to show the design detail that is lovely to see and an implicit part of True Gamine. And then another aspect here is that shine is brought into it. I've talked about shine already. All water styles use shine, but for the True Gamine, it's part of her fabric portfolio. She has shine, she has smooth fabrics. Generally, there are exceptions. Some of the artistries can pull in a bit of texture, but normally the archetype is smooth, balanced fabric. Print is a really wonderful and important aspect of True Gamine, the True Gamine style. In this case, you can see that the print is actually a static print. The hexagons are evenly spaced, and the hexagons are also they are surrounded by this little shiny braid that is repeated all around all the hexagons, so there you have repetition, but you also have repetition at the join of the sleeve to her torso. So lots of repetition here as well. It's just an amazing example of True Gamine. So interesting. Print is, as I said, a big part of every Gamine style. All three of them use print, and that is because Gamines really reflect energy and activity. And if you've ever known any True Gamines, or maybe you know people like this and you think, aha, that person must be True Gamine, because of the organizing activity and energy associated with this style. So here you see three different prints combined. In fact, the belt is also a very low grade kind of print, so there's probably even four if you want to be specific here. But the prints are used with rhythm. And how does that work in this case? Well, two ways. One is the background to all three of the prints, the short, the top, and the sort of underblouse. They are all, the background is always black. And the second thing is that the motifs are relatively the same size. So then again, you have rhythm of scale. So repetition is always an aspect of rhythm. Another thing going on here is the way of using color is actually alluding to Joan's prime color, which I'm guessing is, I can't really tell because I can't see her, but I'm guessing it is ruby fire. So as a fire color, you can use different sort of more colors, bright colors used in combination. And that's really effective here. And so this is, and then the last thing I wanted to point out, as I mentioned, I think earlier, is that diamonds are really showing a True Gamine because the diamond, all Gamines use diamond as part of their Gamine family. In talking about design, in the last one as well as in this one, and primarily in this one, you're going to see most of the activity, again, is above the waist. But look at the cleanness of this design detail. It's reiterating the boat neckline, which is lovely. And it's also in scale, going from smaller at the top to larger at the bottom, which is reiterating her silhouette. So especially effective for her. Another aspect of it, so the ridges are very clean, and you would need a firm fabric in order to do this. So you can see why firm fabric is so lovely for her. And then you also have repetition with the jacket. The jacket shows horizontal line as well. And you have repetition of color. The taupey color of the underblouse is repeated in the jacket, and the kind of bone color of the pant is repeated in the jacket as well. And as a last example of rhythm, you have the circular, intertwined circles of her bracelet connected to the circles of her earring. So you might ask me, why is she using a circle instead of a diamond? So the thing is that all the other shapes are not always obtainable. And so everyone uses a circle as a default. And so that's why the circle works perfectly well for her. Again, in talking, this outfit shows so many aspects of the True Gamine archetype. So let's start with the jacket. You can see that by using different aspects of fur, the collar is highlighted separately from the torso, highlighted separately from the sleeve. And then again, the boot is once again separately highlighted with a different color, but it ties into her blouse and to her purse. The line of the boot is showing the clean line of a water style. The motif of her blouse brings another example of the design detail being high on her body, as well as the extra energy of the horizontal line in her jacket. Then she has reiteration of color or repetition of color with the skirt repeating the color of her jacket. So many aspects of her outfit are wonderful for her True Gamine style, and it's just lovely to see this. So well done. This really cute outfit again shows rhythm of accessories, because here you have a print for her top and her blouse showing her silhouette perfectly, and then the white of the print is picked up in her sunglasses and her purse, as well as in her shoes and her belt. Normally you might expect to see a wide belt, but in this case, because the narrowness of the belt is repeating the narrowness of her ankle strap, it's really effective. And even if she had a wide white belt, you'd want her to wear this narrow belt on top of it so that you could get that wonderful rhythm of accessory. In the case of the next outfit, what you're going to see here is a different way of forming separates. This case, the separates are formed not by different fabric or different color, and not even by using a midriff top that forms a separation between the top and the skirt, but in this case, you have fabrics that are the same color and very harmonious, similar weight, similar weave, but especially the pleating of the skirt and then also the extra shine of the skirt really separate the top from the skirt. But then the belt, which is like a ribbon, a smooth ribbon, is used as so wide, and it accentuates her focal point, or just her raised waist. But the motif, or how shall I say, the decoration of the belt, which is like a flower or something, is on the belt, so above her waist, and it brings the design emphasis up on her body. So it's very beautiful. And the belt is wide, so that's perfect. This is such an unusual dress. I love this dress for so many reasons. Let's start with the fact that it is a print in an evening attire, which is so hard to find right now. It's not often in style, but even more so now, you hardly ever see this. Secondly, the main motif of the print is like little dots, so there she's getting her static quality of print. And it is overlaid with shine. So if you remember, I said that architecturals have something unique to the gamins in that they have the ability to wear extra shine and extra print. So for her version of True Gamine, this dress works perfectly. The top is fitted, so that's her silhouette, fitted top, and a more full skirt. And even the line of the skirt follows that boot cut line where it really goes, it starts out, in this case, the skirt actually starts out just below the waist, but it gains prominence as you get to the lower part, similar or analogous to a boot cut. And then another aspect of it is that the stripe of the fabric is used to form a kind of a belt, a wide belt, red, black, and it's like a wide way of not only showing the omega nature of her style, but emphasizing her focal point. So it's just beautiful, a very beautiful example of not only her style, but her version of her style. It's amazing. This final image is like a summary of the True Gamine. So what are the elements? So let's start with the inspiration. You see that the sleeve is different from the body of the bodice, and a different fabric, and even a different print, and so not a print but a solid, so further emphasizing the sleeve as well as different emphasis on her cuff. And then the torso is differentiated in two ways. She has the side aspect of her torso as well as the center front. So lots of differentiation of different parts of her body, giving the analogy to time, to the week. Now also what you see is that the print on the side is like a little miniature polka dot, and there's rhythm with that because that is repeated in the purse. Her little purse is firm like her fabrics, repetition, and also that's like a form of fabric harmony that probably everyone does, whether you use rhythm or not, but it's very effective. Then what you see here is that the horizontal stripe in the bodice, not only does it give you sort of a geometric element, it's evenly spaced like you would hope for. The scale is not too large, so that's in keeping with her style. And then it also, because at the top it's like reiterating her boat neck, which is lovely. And then the central motif is a diamond as a gamin, a member of the Gamine family. And then last, the fabric. The fabrics are smooth. The fabrics are balanced weave, so they hold their shape. They're firm, and then there's a low level of shine throughout. So many things that are just wonderful for the True Gamine style. The only thing you could ask for with her archetype, her version of her archetype, being architectural True Gamine, is that the top could be a little bit more fitted, but honestly, it's such a lovely example of True Gamine that we should just applaud it for how many things it does to express her nature and her style. So thank you so much. It's just a pleasure for me to share this with you, and especially with someone who expresses her style so wonderfully. And just let you know that this is number 6 out of 13, so still a lot to come, and I hope you'll join me but for further ones. But also, if you want to know more about yourself and style in general, but also your own personal style, artistry, and coloring, you can come to my website at theartofdress.com, because everything about the art of dress is showing how people, through their dress, actually heighten their own existence as an experience of art. And so that's what is so wonderful to see. So theartofdress.com, and I will see you again soon for number 7, which will, in this case, will be a fabric style. Okay. Thanks again.